And here we go. This is episode 3 of the rebrand
Yeah, 3.
of the Bar Banter podcast that we got going on. Um, we came from a golf simulator.
We did. We did come from a golf simulator that I will add was kind of bullshit, but
No, it was kind of awesome. It was a good time. Look, here's the thing. So it's 9,000 degrees
correct.
in the Midwest right now,
Which is odd.
It's colder in Florida
Yeah.
than it is in
Yeah.
the Ohio's. We were like, we want to go hit some balls, but there's just no chance you're going to do it outside. You die. I like it to be hot, but this is like to kill you. So we go to the golf simulator and we're playing the Pebble Beach. And we're gonna post some videos of it because it was just a good time. You enjoy trespassing.
No, see, and that goes back to my initial comment of saying that it's bullshit because I don't think that those simulators are really all that accurate.
No, they're very accurate.
I don't think they are because I think in real life those balls never end up where they ended up in the simulator.
Just because you were in everybody's yard.
And I think that is a product of the simulator glitching out and we can't trust technology.
Well, I never ended up in anybody's yard.
But I think it was a targeted attack.
On you? Yeah,
on me.
Unbelievable. This is good stuff. You got it. You got to pay attention because we're gonna post these things. It's unbelievable. I mean, he's hitting into concrete walls, wood, on a roof, standing on a roof at one point.
Yeah. And we'll be posting a video to TikTok. Actually, probably before you see this episode, so you'll see it on there. Where I was hitting out of backyards, hitting on top of concrete walls and roofs, and at a bridge to the ocean at one point.
Yes, that's what it kind of ended the whole thing.
Yeah,
the whole thing. We were on the bridge. It was good, and then afterwards we went to a little dive bar in a little strip mall and everything else.
I wouldn't call it a dive bar.
It was kind of a dive bar. It's in a strip mall. It's kind of like nondescript. It's okay. Good point. So that brings me to my first question of the day. What makes a good dive bar?
I think there's a few factors that go into it. Lighting is number one.
Like,
right?
do you need a lot of light? Or you want it to be dark?
It needs to be dark. There needs to be little window action going on, right? Maybe one little tiny 4x4 window in the corner. I need more of a dark setting. There needs to the only lights in the building should be from the lights on the wall of like the Miller lights or your high noon,
your neon lights.
Your neon lights.
You got to have the neon glow.
The neon light should be the only lights in the building.
The neon glow.
There needs to be darts, pool table, both or one or the other.
Well, that was going to be my thing. So so you got to have so the atmosphere, the ambiance of the lights, right?
Yeah.
So games, you just darts.
Well, yeah, of course, absolutely. You need some form of
Pool.
games. They did have Keno, so I'll give them that. But I think pool table and darts, one or the other, is a must for a dive bar.
And the one thing that you didn't bring up though, which we did have, is banter.
Well, of course, you need some banter, yes, but I'm just talking aesthetics alone.
Yeah, I mean, you get the best banter at a dive bar, right? And so we had some pretty decent banter.
We had some good banter, yeah, of course.
Old guys in a corner, they're playing their Keno. They're darn well that this is the stop on the way home from work
every day.
Yeah, is what they do. Talking about
good people.
Watching the game. Talking about the game, talking about everything else, about where they're from, all this other kind of stuff.
I will say that the good touch of the guy who introduced himself is George Costanza.
Yeah, that was good because we were watching the Tiger game, and and they're like, oh, we're from Detroit, kind of, yada yada.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we're like, oh yeah, it's kind of cool. We're from Detroit too, and so the one guy was like. Talk. We love the Tigers, yeah. And I said, I worked for the Tigers, back in the day or whatever. And he was like, oh, I was the assistant to the traveling salesman for the Tigers. And he's like, nice to meet you. I'm George Costanza. It was kind of incredible.
That was pretty strong. Yeah,
it
was
really
good.
It's a good move. So So number one, so the food was dive bar food.
It was okay.
I mean, we had a calzone, we had some wings.
Well, because they said they were known for their calzones and pizzas.
Calzone was pretty decent. It was, I mean, I've had a better calzone, but best calzone that there is that I've ever had is Mitten Brewing Company in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Shout out Mitten Brewing Company. But so food was there.
It was all right.
There was no pool table or darts. I didn't see. There might have been darts somewhere.
There wasn't
along the way.
darts. All I saw was Keno and pull tabs.
I mean, Keno and pull tabs, though.
No, that's strong. It is strong. Another thing about the bar, the lighting. There were a lot of windows.
A lot of windows.
A lot of windows, which kind of eliminates the dive bar. If it's really bright in there, I don't feel like it's a dive bar.
Also, it was kind of like the industrial ceiling to where it was very high and exposed and stuff like that. Whereas I almost kind of feel like a dive bar needs to have the low ceiling.
The low, like, wooden ceiling. Like, you almost like to hit your head on them when you walk in. Like, it needs to be like a box.
When I was living in Lansing, what was the dive bar?
Nut House.
No, not the Nut House. The other one that we went to that had like they were like the old 70s style stools at the bar.
I don't remember because we always would go to Lansing.
It was
Brew.
the oldest bar in Lansing.
Oh, the oldest bar in Lansing. There's a video on our TikTok if you scroll down
down far enough about it. But it was that's kind of like the epitome of a dive bar.
Yeah.
Low ceilings, all kind of stuff. It hasn't changed since 1972.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So, but what is your biggest thing that you're looking for in a dive bar?
It's two things. It needs to be dark, and it needs to you need to walk in and know that the place is older than you.
It's a good point.
Like, if you walk in and you know that place is older than you, and then it's dark and you can't tell what time it is when you walk in, that's a dive bar.
Although I will say this, like out in Chicago, and Bill, you got me on this one. One of the best dive bars that I've ever been to is Cindy's. And it's right next to a laundromat, which is kind of incredible. And it's it's in a strip mall. It's right next to a laundromat, and it's pretty light in there, but it is a dive bar.
Yeah. Dive bars, here's the thing. You know it's a dive bar when you walk in immediately. You don't have to question, is this a dive bar? Yeah. When you open the door, you know right upon walking in if it's a dive bar, if it's not a dive bar.
50% of the people in there know each other.
Correct. And that's what makes it
at
awesome.
all times.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So, no, it's good stuff. It was good. It's a good time. So be on the lookout for these videos of us at the at the simulator. It was a good time. It is unbelievable.
Yeah, we struggled a bit, so we got to be better next time for sure.
I'm going to tell you. So we get an hour, right? You figure an hour, you're going to at least get 9 holes in, right? No, she comes up to us 3 holes in. You guys got 10 minutes left.
Yeah. Yeah, that caught me off guard. I was surprised.
Yeah,
it felt like we had only been there for 10 minutes, and then she said we had 10 minutes left. I was like, well, hold on a minute.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Okay. I want to ask you a question. Like I said, we were watching the Tiger game. And Tigers are winning 7-4 right now and everything like that. I want to see if you can guess a top 10 for me based off of baseball.
Okay.
Ranker. We've
used Ranker.
We love
before.
the Ranker, right? So like Ranker has their top 10s or their top 100s and all this other kind of stuff like that. Wherever, and they do a bunch of different topics and all that kind of stuff. So I go into it and I say, okay, so as of June 1st of 2025, so the beginning of this month, 19,000 people answered the question of who are the best baseball players right now.
Right now?
Right now.
Okay.
So 19,000 people, and this tallies up the votes of 19,000 people for who the best players in baseball are right now. Can you guess who is in the top 10?
Yes, I can, but I also feel like we've done this before.
No, we haven't.
Are you sure?
I guarantee you.
Oh, because the one we did before was best hitters.
It's something along those lines, but this one's completely different because I saw this list the part of it that made me laugh is the reason why we're doing this.
Okay. All right. So, Bryce Harper's on the list.
He's number 96 on the list. He's number 96. They got 19,000 people voted best players in the game right now. And what they said was Bryce Harper is number 96 on the list as far as best players. I want to tell you something.
Who are these 19,000 people? Bums on the street? I don't understand. They've never watched a game of baseball a day in their life.
So first of all, I just want to tell you what the funny part about it is Nick Castellano, Kyle Schwarber. These dudes they ranked way higher than Bryce Harper.
So so the 19. All right, so let's huge disclaimer is what you should have said. The 19,000 people that they asked have never watched a game of baseball a day in their life. They've never even watched one pitch. They probably think that the St. Louis Rams are a baseball team. That's how that's the group of people that they asked for Bryce Harper to be on 96. So you went out. So basically, what they did was, hey, we're ranker.
JT Real Muto.
Yeah. So what they said is, we're ranker. Let's go find the 19,000 dumbest people on planet Earth, like the literal dumbest people we can find, and ask them to rank people.
Anthony Rendon is 81 on that list.
Okay, so if we're going based off of complete idiots, I don't know. Let's put Jaron Duran's on there somewhere.
Of the 19,000, Bryce Harper got 5,100 top 100 place votes.
So again, I'm just setting the stage.
5,164.
Right. So out of the people they asked, really stupid, dumb people that don't know the first thing about the sport. So I have to take that into consideration when I'm making my list.
Right after Key Bryant.
Of course, yes, because once again, they asked stupid people this question. So I have to try and stoop. I have to try and stoop low enough.
I love it.
So okay.
Can you get who is in the top 10?
I'm sure Aaron Judge is up there.
Aaron Judge is number 2.
Yeah, I'm sure Shohei Ohtani's probably number 1.
Shohei's number 1.
Yeah. Mike Trout probably
is number 3,
which is ridiculous because Harper blows him out of the water. But, and then Lindor.
Let's see. Frankie Lindor is number 12 on the list.
Okay, so just shy. Tatis Jr.
He's number 10.
Okay. A healthy Acuna.
Yeah, a healthy Acuna is number 5.
Yeah. Freddie Freeman.
Yep. Freddie is number 6.
I mean, there's no way they got Bregman on there.
No, he's not in the top 10.
Altuve?
Not in the top 10. They're both ranked way higher.
Jose, shut up. Jose Ramirez?
Yes, Jose Ramirez is number 9. So you got you need I
mean, how dumb are these people that they're asking? They're 96.
I'm just saying, it's unbelievable.
Ellie De La Cruz.
No, he is not in the top 10.
At least top 20. Well, you said, so you said Castellanos and Remuto were higher than Harper, but there's no way that those two were in the 10.
No.
So, all right. I'm trying to think. Can I ask you this?
You can.
Are the remaining players on good or bad teams, and are they position players or are they pitchers?
So the one that, so you got 1, 2, 3, you got 5 and 6. Number 4 is an obvious one that's on the same team as Ohtani and Freeman that you just have.
Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts. is number 4.
This is just all. This was
And
such
then
a terrible list.
you know the let's I'll give you a hint. The big splash off season free agent signing of this past year.
I feel like Bregman was a pretty big free agent signing.
Who's the bigger one? He went pretty early in free agency.
Oh, Juan Soto.
Yeah, so that's number 7. And then the only other one, number 8, that you haven't gotten yet is you actually
Position player.
Yeah, you really like him. He's a shortstop. Young kid. He's a junior.
Oh, Bobby Witt.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like this list at all. Actually, I think it's one of the worst lists I probably ever heard in my entire life. I think that I probably could have asked somebody who doesn't watch baseball, and they probably would have given me a better list than that. That's an atrocious list. Ranker, I love you. You guys got some good stuff, but that's
listen, they're
really
just going off what the people want.
That's a really bad list.
This is what the people want.
That's a really bad list.
They have Nolan Arenado at number 16.
Yeah, that's a really
He's on the downswing. I love Arenado. Want him to be a Tiger, but he's on the downswing.
That's a really, really, really bad list.
Do you know who's number 18 on this list? Max Scherzer.
So there were pitchers on this list, just none of them are in the top 10.
Right.
Okay, by that logic, then Skeens and Scooble should have been in the top 10 over guys like Bobby Witt and Mookie Betts.
No.
Yes, 1,000 times yes.
Justin Verlander's number 21.
Okay, Verlander's 100. Dude, if you would ask me this 10 years ago, then yes. This is a horrible, oh my God. How dumb are you people? They've asked 19,000 people. That means, we already know that most people are dumb.
It's incredible.
We already know that most people are dumb, and I like dogs more than I like people. But 19,000?
JT Realmuto was number 36.
The fact that you're putting, and I love JT.
And then Schwarber was 37.
Again, these are guys, you're not naming bad players.
Breggs was 38.
Right. You're not naming bad players, but you're naming players that couldn't even lace Harper's cleats.
Here's the one that's going to get you. Who number 40 was? Anthony Rizzo, and he's not even in the league anymore.
Yeah, that's bad. How do you have a guy who's currently a free agent?
It's unbelievable.
Again, and like guys like Jazz Chisholm and Ellie De La Cruz are not even in the top 20, 30.
Oh no, they're not even in the top 100.
That's, oh my God. Who I seriously, can you figure out who are
it's June 1st of 2025.
I understand.
That's the beginning of this month.
Dude,
19,000 people.
And that's fine. But who are these 19,000? Because they're clearly not baseball fans.
That's why I laughed at it. When I saw Harper was ranked number 96, I knew you were going to have a corner. It's unbelievable.
19,000 absolute dumbasses. So this is what they should have retitled the article to. We asked 19,000 dumbasses who the best players in baseball are today. That's what they should have named the title of it. 96. Give me a break, dude. Mookie Betts, great player, but he's not even close to the athleticism of Bryce Harper.
It's so good. It makes you happy.
I could have told you from the jump. You could have asked. They could have went out there and said, we asked somebody who's never watched baseball day in their life who the best is. And Ohtani and Judge still would have been 1 and 2. Yeah. That's fine. The glaze is unreal. But Harper, 96. Give me a break. Next topic.
So, all right. So here's the thing. So we talk about, like the bar banter and the stuff like that and all these things. I want to talk to you about a segment, a new segment here on the Bar Banter.
Okay.
The new segment is what I would like to call the Last Call Chronicles.
Ooh, I like that.
So, you know when there's the last call.
Of course.
One last call can be, the bar shuts down or whatever. I had the one story about how like me and my buddy Chad, we go out and we're just kind of like last call is whenever we're just like we Irish goodbye and we're out.
Yeah.
So I get another story of the Last Call Chronicles. So this one was a last call. It was a St. Patrick's Day weekend and we're in Chicago. And we're in the North End. We're in Old Town, and there's a dive bar, perfect of all dive bars. sticky floors, the
Oh yeah.
whole
Oh, that's
deal,
one we
all
missed
of
earlier.
it.
Sticky floors.
Yeah, sticky
Yeah.
floors. Sticky bar is another good one, and so it's called the Burton Place in Chicago, in Old Town, and it's open till 4 o'clock in the morning, and
That's right, because in Chicago, there's a few bars that can stay
a
open
few
later.
bars, and so this one, so we're like, all right, so let's go into the Burton, and so we're in there, and it's like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning or whatever. So we're getting to be the last call or whatever. So me and my buddy at the time we were there, and we're just talking to people, and there was these people that were there, and the one guy had on one of those bear hats with the long things down that you
Oh
put
yeah,
your
the
hands
hands
in,
in. Yeah.
and so he's like does he's like, oh, I'm sorry, does my hat give you pause? And then you guy laughed at me. He's like, you can't bear it, can you? It was unbelievable. So the guy was unbelievable. So we're like, all right, we're talking to this guy. Like, we're gonna talk to this guy now. Like, he's on one, and I want to be a part of it. So we're sitting there talking to him, and then all of a sudden, we're like, okay, yeah, let's get a shot. We're gonna buy
Oh
these
God.
guys a shot. We're gonna buy these guys a shot. It's 3:30 in the morning at this point in time. And some buddy Steve says to the bartender, yeah, we want to get a round of shots. And she said, what do you want? He goes, I don't know. You call it. Big mistake. First time hanging out that late in Chicago in a neighborhood at a dive bar. The bartender, of course, what does she roll out? She rolls out the Malort.
You have to when you're in Chicago.
We had never had the Malort before.
Oh.
We didn't even know what the Malort was.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys, the guy in the bear suit and everything else, they knew what was happening.
They're locals.
And they're like, oh, this is going to be a good time, right? So Steve and I, so we grabbed the shot, whatever. We're like, salute, boom, tap, goosh, throw it down. I couldn't even get it to the back of my throat before I turned and spit it into my beer bottle. Steve runs out. He's throwing up in the bushes. And he comes back in. He's like, what the was that? Everybody's laughing at us. They know what's going on, everything else. And it was unbelievable. That was my first initiation into the Malort.
Yeah, Malort's not a good time.
Malort is a last call shot.
Yeah.
Like when you were in Orlando, like when you guys were like shutting down and everything else, you're like, what are we going to do? Well, let's do some Malorts, right?
No, it was not Malort. It was Rumpelmans.
Ooh, that's even worse.
Right. No, I'd beg to differ. I would say Rumpelmans is way better than Malort.
I don't. Ooh, the Rumpelmans is bad.
But so that was what it was in Orlando. It was Rumpelmans. That was your sender home, like bar shutting down. Rumpelmans. That's your nightcap. Was Rumpelmans.
Rumpelmans
and in fact,
was always a bad one.
But Rumpelmans was
Goldschlager.
Yeah, Goldschlager is very similar to Rumpelman. It's a peppermint schnapps, but like okay,
black licorice.
Yeah. But Rumpelman's even was just like a regular. Like there were people that would just be like, yeah, just just a light day today. Let me get a Yingling and a Rumpelman's. I'm like, what? A light day? Like yeah, just kind of hanging out today. Got an off day. I'd do a couple rumpies. Like you don't just do a couple rumpies.
That's not no. That's listen. There's other issues in your life.
Yeah.
You
don't just do a couple rumpies.
You're not just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna go get. Can I get a Malort on the rocks? No, like it's
no.
You
know what? And that's funny because you've never had a person actually ever order like a Malort on the rocks, right?
No,
or a Rumpelmans on the rocks until I was in Orlando, and one guy that I used to work with at Johnny's, who was one of the prep guys in the kitchen. Didn't work anymore or whatever. Haven't seen him in a while. Long story short, I'm at another bar in Burton. Burton's is the bar. Similar to you, yours was the Burton bar. Well, this one is just Burton's. It's in Thornton Park, Orlando.
Burton's Place.
Oh, Burton's Place. But this was just Burton's, Thornton Park, Orlando. And
is there a Burton's dive bar in every city?
It's a great name. It's a great name.
It really is.
It's a great name. So I run into him, and it looked like he was just like he had a pint glass of ice and looked like he was just having a water. So I go, oh, like Buddha, good to see you, man. It's been a while. Like,
Oh, the
how you
Buddha.
how you been?
I remember
He's
the
like, oh,
Buddha.
good. I'm driving for Uber now. I got a new car. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, dude. New car. Making some money. That's cool. I'm like, what is the early night for you? Drinking some water? What's going on? He goes, oh no, oh no. He goes, no. I figured out the cheat code. I'm a little tight on money right now, so I just get a double Rumplemints and water, and I just sip about 2 of those, and I'm good for the night. And you know how bad it was? For a split second, I almost went, you know what?
No, 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 no.
I
See,
mean, financially.
well, but okay. So here's like, listen. There's a lot of other ways you can go that you don't need to go the Rumplemans and water route on ice. That's that's a
I
rough
mean,
one
the
to go.
best chaser for Rumplemints is water. Because it's like mouthwash, right? When Listerine, it burns. What do you immediately want water?
Well,
So I would argue that the best chaser for Rumplemints is water.
okay,
Some
so
people do
that
Coke backs or whatever.
that's a good chaser for any of it. Water though, right? Like I
No,
mean, you
because it
throw
doesn't get the
water.
taste out of your mouth. I would never chase tequila with water. I have, but
Well,
I would rather
listen,
do
there's
pineapple or
nothing that's going to get the taste of Rumplemans out of your mouth.
no.
Even a
Well,
pickleback's not going to do
no.
that.
I mean, but water soothes it though.
Well, that's what it'll soothe anything. You could drink a water after a Malort, and you're.
But the one thing, the difference I think with what, because you're used to doing it with like mouthwash and stuff, because that's really all Rumplements is. It's just alcoholic mouthwash.
Like a peppermint schnappers.
Yeah, yeah. Like water, I think it soothes the throat from the burn, and it really does. I think
Yeah.
and then it's just like you just spit mouthwater. You got the minty fresh. They used to always say, hey, does anybody have gum when you're at the bar? Anybody have gum? You're a young lad. You're macking on a girl. Trying to get the digits, but your
Did you
breath's
say
hot.
macking
You're
on a
macking
girl?
on a
Like
girl.
is this
You're
1990?
you're trying to get the phone number, but your breath smells because you've been drinking, right? So anybody got gum? Anybody got gum? The old just do it. Just do a rumpy. Just do a rumpy, and you're good to
Listen,
go.
here's the thing.
Got to keep the napkin on deck.
Napkins always got to be on deck. I'm not gonna do a rump. Hey, listen, I'm gonna make sure that I've got enough. I've got enough in the till to be able to afford the uh the Happy Dad fruit punch. Um, the best in the game.
Hashtag not a sponsor, but would love it to be.
Absolutely, reach out. Let's go. Let's take the ball and run with it because
Love the happy dad.
yeah, I am a happy dad, and it's a good time. So I'm gonna make sure there's enough in the till to roll with that before I have to go to the rumps and all that kind of stuff going on.
Yes.
So
Yes, I will say when you forget to ask for like a water back or some sort of back with the Rumplements, trying to chase it with a beer or seltzer, the wrong move. Wrong move.
no,
There have been times where I've had to I didn't think ahead and I was stuck trying to chase my Rumplements with a High Noon or a Coors Light and it just did not.
first of all, again, the fact that Rumplemans is even on deck is a bad play.
I'm going to tell you something.
It's just
Now, I'm
it's-
gonna
it's
tell
a
you something
bad
about Orlando,
night.
though.
It's a bad night.
Yeah,
That's a last call.
I'm gonna-
That's the last call right
I
there.
would argue yes, but I'm going to tell you something about Orlando. The 407 loves the Rumplemans.
It's
It is the
kind of like how the 312 loves the Malort.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is the 313 like? Colt 45?
Colt 45s?
It's from Detroit. The malt liquor.
Hennessy?
Stroh's.
That's a good question.
That is.
What is the go-to like
There's not a liquor that's like associated with the 313.
Yeah.
Because like 312, like Chicago's a Malort thing.
Yeah, Orlando's
And if
Rumplemans.
Orlando's a Rumpleman thing. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to figure it out.
I would probably so I've only bartended in Orlando. If I bartended in Detroit,
You would know.
I would know. But I'm just trying to think because
But you don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I would think it would probably be a dark. I feel like there's more
Some
there's
type
a lot,
of a whiskey?
Yeah, maybe like a Jameson or a Jack. I mean,
Jam-
there is a bar in downtown Detroit called Jameson's.
Go, yeah. Big Irish contingent.
Actually, no, they closed down.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. R.I.P.
But we still have Old Shillelagh, though.
It's a landmark.
Yeah.
It's a landmark. So, okay. So that's the last call.
Yeah, we got some technical difficulties here.
Don't know what's going on there. Technical difficulties. Okay.
TV went out. Tigers were up 7-4 last we saw. It's fine. Scooble started. We're good.
Here we go. I want to give you a blind rank.
Okay. Let's do it.
So we're gonna go 5.
Okay.
We're gonna go top 5. We're gonna go bar food.
Ooh, this is where it's at. All right.
We're gonna blind rank the bar food.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is all kinds of bar food, so it doesn't necessarily even have to be dive bar food.
No, just you're
typically you're gonna go to a dive bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like this. Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out there. I'm gonna say fries.
Okay, fries are always a good staple, right? Especially when you're sitting there and you're feeling, ooh, okay, all right, maybe I overcommit a little bit. Maybe I I went a little too hard. I'm buzzing pretty hard here. We got a long night ahead.
On some fries.
Let me just
settle it in.
Yeah, nibble on some fries there and kind of just calm down a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
It is.
Listen, fries got to be 3, right? That sets the bar. Fries are a classic. You know what? You got the munchies. You're a little too drunk. You just want a little snack. It sets the bar. The fries are the bar.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go 3.
So that that's and I see your logic there.
Yeah.
That's a good one. What about the pretzel?
Pretzel's a good one. I will say
now I will caveat this, and I will say it could either be a soft pretzel or a bag of the hard pretzels.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, but that doesn't really change to me. I will say the thing about the pretzel, as time goes on, it's gone away from bars.
It kind of really has.
You know what I'm
right?
saying?
Like you used to have the bowl of pretzels
right.
that were just
They've replaced it with popcorn, which fantastic, by the way. Yeah, so because of that reason alone, I'm going to put pretzel at 5 just because it's kind of gone away and it's about 1 in 5 bars now that'll offer a soft pretzel or a bag of pretzels.
Okay. All right. Well, then what about the burger?
Burger's a good one. And now since we're talking bar food, right? At least to me, my personal experiences with burgers is if I'm at a bar and I'm getting a burger, that to me is, well, that means I'm not going to really drink much more.
So that could
either
move it down or move it up.
Correct. Because it's a
on what you're
great
looking
time.
for.
A good old fashioned cheeseburger at a bar. It never disappoints.
Well, no, sometimes it does. And I will. Here's where the burger. So the pretzel and the fries, you know what you're getting, right? Like a burger, it could either be amazing or it could like really be like, why did I do this? You know what I'm saying?
I guess I personally really have not had many bad experiences with a burger at a bar. And again, this is a personal preference for me, and it's also my list. But a lot of times, if I order a burger, that means that I'm getting close to wrapping up.
It's time to shut her down.
That's the start of shutting her down.
The last call.
Yeah. But it's a great nightcap after a night of drinking. It's a great nightcap. I'm gonna put the burger at 2.
Ooh, that's.
I'm gonna put the burger at 2. It's classic.
So you're gonna go.
Listen, it's my list and it's my preference, but I'm taking account to as being in the bar scene for the last 3 years, both as an employee and a patron. It's a staple.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's got to have a good burger,
Of course.
right? Like
And almost every bar has got whatever the name is, burger. the name of the bar, burger. You know,
Okay, so then let's go back to what about the popcorn?
see, popcorn's great. Popcorn is great.
Because there are some dive bars that don't have a kitchen.
Correct.
And they don't have a menu.
Right.
But they have the popcorn machine going in the corner.
Some notable bars off the top of my head. Right
McSwiggin's?
here in Perrysburg, Ohio, McSwiggin's. Great with the popcorn. One of my favorites in downtown Orlando, Casey's. They've got the popcorn machine in the corner there. Go ahead and fill yourself up a little boat.
A lot of breweries
Yeah.
run with a popcorn machine because they don't have a kitchen.
Yeah, I love the popcorn.
Tap rooms and whatnot.
I love the popcorn, and here's where I differentiate the two. I love it. Popcorn at a bar, I think it's a must. When we open a bar one day, it's a must. But you said food. Popcorn to me
That's
is
a food.
It's a snack, which, yes, technically snacks are food. But when I hear the word food, I'm thinking meal. And fries are different. Fries are more filling than popcorn. I could eat 17 boats of popcorn. I could maybe put down 2 baskets of fries. So because of that, I love it. But if you're really looking to satisfy, because the popcorn, you could eat it all night long. So I like this. I'm gonna put popcorn. I'm gonna put popcorn at 4.
But if you could eat it all night long, doesn't that elevate it?
No, because you need substance at some point.
'Cause it's like you're gaining the substance.
You want
all night.
yeah, but again, but when you're out at a bar and you're drinking, you want to drink.
And you can still eat the popcorn.
Yeah,
while you're
but
doing
and then the kernels get stuck in your teeth, and then it's a lot. I love the popcorn at a bar. I think it should be at every bar, right? I think popcorn should be at every bar. But yeah, I'm gonna put it at 4. You know why? Because I have my last slot left is 1, and I think I know what you're gonna hit me with.
What do you think I'm gonna hit you with?
The chicken wings.
No.
What?
Because here's the thing. Like, we all know the chicken wings, right? What I'm gonna throw out there, and I'm gonna give you at number 1 is I'm gonna give you the potato skin.
I'm not mad at that.
Can I tell you something?
I'm not mad at that. I will say though, guys, had wings have been on that list, they would have been the number 1. And I would, if I could do this differently, and if the roles, if it was different, I love my list. The one thing I would do differently is I would probably put wings at 1 if I could, and I would get the pretzels out of that list, and I'd probably bump everything down 1. So I'd put the potato skins at 2, burger 3, da.
But that's not the list.
I understand that's not the list, but I'm still happy with it.
here's
Okay, I'll take the skins at 1 because I would have put them at 2 had wings been on there.
But what I want to tell you is,
I like that. I'll take the skins.
so we were. I don't know if we were watching a playoff game or something or whatever. We were in Lansing, and I was cooking up some shit.
Yeah. So we were watching. This was Stafford's first year on the Rams, and we were watching the Rams and Niners NFC Championship
game, and I'm cooking up some stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm cooking. I got chili going.
Yeah.
I got wings going.
Because I had a couple of my buddies over. Shout out Chris, Noah, those guys. We were all hanging out.
And I'm doing stuff like that. So now I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna do some potatoes.
A little baked potato action.
I'm gonna do a little baked potato with chili.
Oh.
Sometimes you throw the chili on top of the baked potato, and then you have your wings as a snackatizer.
Oh,
so
that's a meal of champions, right there.
Yeah. So I'm like, listen, we're doing this, right? So I grabbed the baked potatoes and everything, and I got the olive oil, and I'm rubbing the skin, and I'm salting and seasoning and everything else and stuff like that, and I'm getting ready to cook them and bake them and do all that. And Jake looks at me, he goes, "What are you doing all that to the skin for?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm flavoring it." And he goes, "But can you eat the skin of a potato?" And I said, there is an entire menu item at just about every bar that you go to called potato skin.
I would like to defend myself.
Because he thought that you couldn't eat the skin out of when you have a baked potato.
I would like to represent myself in court.
Which is why I put potato skins on this list.
I would like to represent myself in court. Listen, it had been a long day. I was really nervous about this game. I wanted Stafford to win so bad.
You had no idea that you could eat the skin.
And in my brain,
there's a menu
I'm
item
not.
on every bar in America
And
called potato skins.
in my brain, in that state,
Yeah,
I had envisioned salmon, and how you
salmon.
typically don't eat the skin on the salmon. I do, but most people don't.
Salmon. You went from a potato to salmon.
Listen, like I mentioned,
This story's not going well.
No,
for you.
like I said, defend me in the comments, please, people, because
because
I'm going to tell you something.
There's no defense. To
No. I'm gonna tell you that in that state, the state of my head at that moment was skin and food. I immediately went salmon, and how usually you scrape the salmon meat off the skin and leave the skin. I have since learned.
You ever fried salmon skin?
And I was just gonna say, I had since learned that you can do that. I would just eat the skin but I have since learned that you can do that. But again, point of the story, it's great.
You ever fried salmon?
Point of the story is my brain had went to salmon skin, which is why I was like, well, don't you typically not eat that? So it was a boneheaded comment.
Yes, this was unbelievable.
It was a boneheaded comment. I'll admit that.
I took it personally on myself as a dad.
Because at the end of the day, it's
as a happy dad.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
I took it on myself as a happy.
That made you a disappointed dad.
I failed this child miserably. That he doesn't have the sense about him.
You got to understand where I'm coming from.
No, there's no understanding. It's the one of the best menu items on every.
So then to wrap
legitimate establishment is called potato skins.
Okay, and so to wrap it up, I'm happy with my list. Obviously, wings weren't an option, but they're number one. But I'm happy with skins.
You didn't even know you could eat a potato skin.
I'm happy with skins being number one because I like a good potato skin. And actually, bullshit on you because you sit there and you say you like a potato skin, and everybody likes a potato skin, but this guy sits there, looks me in the face last night at dinner and says, I don't want to get the potato skins because then I won't eat my meal. It's a great appetizer, too.
No, because I said, here's my thing. If I'm going to get potato skins, I'm getting potatoes. So here's the thing. There's a bar, Sidelines, where I will do an order of potato skins and some chicken wings.
Shout out Sidelines in Ohio.
But I was getting ready to get a meal, and I was like, if we get potato skins, I'm just going to eat potato skins, and I'm not going to get.
But you don't do that
else.
At the Sidelines. You get the wings with the potato skins.
But the wings are also. Listen, all right. Here, sidebar. If you order multiple items off of the appetizer or starters menu, you can order as many as you want, and it doesn't matter.
No,
but if you order a meal, then that's the meal.
Yes, correct. However, like nachos are a perfect example of that.
Right.
90% of restaurants you go to, nachos are on the appetizers portion of the menu. Nachos are a meal, right? But they're also a shareable. I would argue that potato skins aren't a meal. They're only a shareable.
Where do nachos go on the list?
See, that's the thing. You didn't throw nachos at me either. I would have put it.
Because here's the thing. Because not many dive bars can do a nacho.
If you get the nacho right, I put them at 2. Wings will be 1 no matter what. But I think nacho goes 2 if they do it right. But you love a good fry. You love a good basket of fries. You love a good boat of popcorn.
So you go wings, nacho, potato skin?
If potato skins are an option over French fries, yes.
What about jalapeno poppers?
When you're drinking, I don't like spice. I don't like.
Stop it.
If I'm drinking alcohol, I'm not a big fan of spice. If I'm not drinking, I love throwing a little jalapenos on the burger.
It's good. I put some jalapenos in my calzone.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
it was a good time.
I put jalapenos on my burger at Sidelines last week. It was a good time.
All right. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
So we travel around to baseball stadiums. We've done single A, double A, triple A, major leagues. We've done 10 major league parks. Can try to hit at least one more this summer.
Yeah, at least 11 this year.
We've already talked about Cincinnati.
Cincinnati was
We've already talked about Pittsburgh.
At Pittsburgh, yep.
Um, the Cubs, I mean, you were pretty young. Tigers,
Yeah.
we go to all the time.
Grew up in Detroit, so Tigers games, I mean, countless memories, right? And then of course, yeah, from the years what, 9 to 16, we were at a Cubs game every year on my birthday.
Yes.
So,
and the Indians was kind of uneventful.
it was uneventful. There wasn't a lot going on. It was a boring 1-0 game. And they're in our division, so
what I want to ask you is, of the White Sox, the Brewers, the Marlins, and the Rays that we have been to, what is the best story out of those four?
So we have briefly, on our first episode, touched on Tampa,
right?
And the bar poor decisions, and our guy. We briefly touched on that. Our guy Kevin, but then our other guy, that our server that we ended up running into at another bar that took us on a wild goose chase through downtown St. Petersburg. That we briefly touched on that. You guys already got the gist of that one. Great time, but Miami was different, right?
But we did do some good karaoke in Miami.
But was that for my? Oh, that was for my birthday.
Yeah,
because we've been to Miami twice for the Marlins and the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
So can we pair?
We were singing Bella Ciao.
Good old Money Heist, greatest show on Netflix.
Yeah, singing Bella Ciao.
Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Ciao, Ciao. Yeah, great. So yeah, but that's not other. So are we talking just Marlins, or can I add World Baseball Classic, because that was a good time too?
We talked about the World Baseball Classic, so I'll tell you. So okay, so
all right. So you said Miami, Tampa, White Sox,
Brewers.
Yeah. Well, Brewers, I'm just gonna. There is a story to the Brewers.
I think the White Sox and the Brewers kind of goes.
Yeah, the White Sox and the Brewers kind of.
That was a back.
You know what? Okay, so let's do that.
Let's run it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's
run
the Brewers.
Let's run White Sox into Brewers. Okay, so all right, we mentioned Cubs, right? From my 9th birthday to my 16th birthday, that whole entire time period, we went to a Cubs game every year. That's just what I wanted to do. From that time frame, always been a Tigers fan, but from those years specifically, I was a huge Cubs guy. And a lot of it had to do with you working in Chicago a lot. And so we were in Chicago.
I worked 6 years in Chicago, spent a lot of time in Chicago. That's where I met all my Chicago people. I love you guys.
Yeah. So from that time period of my life, Chicago was like a second home to me. I was there every summer.
Yeah.
We had multiple trips every summer because of his job.
Winter, summer.
Yeah. So I had kind of built a fandom for Chicago sports, just based on the fact that we spent a lot of time there. So the Cubs, and we chose Cubs over White Sox because I never really went to the South Side, and quite frankly, it's not really a safe place to bring kids. But
you extreme South Side, my guy. But
here's where I get introduced to the South Side, and it's a good thing,
South Side. Yeah, my guys from the South Side.
Let's we talk about birthdays and spending time in Chicago and 9 to 16. Okay, well, I'm now 21.
A 21-year-old whippersnapper that thinks I'm 21. Oh, and I know how to party.
I had thought that I knew what was up. Was this 21-year-old going to go out with a bunch of 45-year-olds? Oh, this is nothing. I'm gonna run circles around these dudes. Him, our guy Bill, a few other guys that we ended up meeting up with as the night went on.
The Silver Fox. So there's a strip on the south side of Chicago, western half, and it's a gauntlet. It's an absolute gauntlet to run. I mean, there's dive bars, there's sports bars, there's breweries, it's a 1 mile, maybe 2 mile strip that is an absolute gauntlet.
And you know what? It doesn't get enough credit.
No, it's fantastic.
Because you talk about your bourbon streets,
Irish bars. Yeah. It's literally up and down. You go from one place to another. It's everything's got a different vibe. Everything's cool. It depends on it's got everything you're looking for.
Yeah, and
it's unbelievable.
you talk about your Bourbon Streets and your South Beach and all these other strips and you know whatever, but no, I'll tell you something about Western Ave. Let me tell you something. So me being a 21-year-old thinking I can go ahead and I can handle it and I can run circles around these dudes, we start by shotgunning some BLAs in the parking lot before the White Sox game. Which, by the way, White Sox games super fun.
Oh, it was awesome.
Great time.
So we made sure that we were so we had a little inside information because again, I got a lot of people in the south side of Chicago that are really good friends of mine. And so they said, listen, if you're going to go to a White Sox game, you got to be in the outfield. And you've got because it's sectioned off from foul pole to foul pole. It's the outfield, and then there's a whole area back there to where it's essentially a party. And so we were back there, and we ended up in a great spot. To where we were there, the bar was right behind us, and then we were on the rail at the end of where the seats were, and it was the most fantastic thing. We turned around, we'd get beers, then we turned back around the rail.
Yeah, because we were
awesome.
literally
Unbelievable.
we were literally right in the bar, and at the time too, that was the same season that the White Sox were actually good. Like they were making a push for the playoffs when Tim Anderson was in his prime, and also the game we went to, benches cleared. So we got to see a brawl.
It was a good time.
This was before down goes
the Orioles.
Anderson, down goes Anderson. That was before that, but
because that ended his career.
Oh yeah, before J Ram, like to be UFC champ, but no. So yeah, all in all, it was a great time. The game was fun. We threw a couple back, had a good time. I think the White Sox ended up winning that
BLAs
game.
In the parking lot.
Shotgun BLAs in the parking lot. I think the White Sox won.
White Sox did not.
Oh, did they lose that game?
Yeah, they lost. That was the only home team loss that we've had.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Reds lost 12-11 to the Cardinals. So we're
2.
So we're 8-2.
8-2
as far as home teams on our trips.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't count the Cubs and the Tigers because we went to so many.
They've won games that we've been there, so whatever, fine.
But yeah, so okay. All in all, great time. So we're with our guy Bill, and obviously, I'm 21. We had maybe 3 beers at the game, and we shotgunned a BLA or 2 outside. Got some food too. Had a couple hot dogs.
Gotta have your hot dogs.
We were living it up. So of course, first time on the south side for me. I'm 21 now. I can actually go to the bars with all these guys. They got to put me through. They got to put me through Western Ave, and so they put me through Western Ave. And in fact, tonight at dinner, we were literally reminiscing and looking through pictures and stuff, and a picture came across of all of us at one of these bars, and I looked at him, I said, Dad, I don't remember being at this bar.
It's unbelievable. This was the Horse Thief. You had some spoonfuls to start, hazy IPAs. But it was a gauntlet. It was a gauntlet. We run them through the gauntlet. We took them to all the spots and everything else. Wake up in the morning.
Yeah, this is where the story gets juicy
because we were gonna leave in the morning because then we're going up to Milwaukee for a 4:00 Brewers game.
Yeah,
and wake up in the morning. Bill makes biscuits and gravy, sausage and eggs, the whole deal, everything else. I'm like trying to drag him out of bed. He can't do it. He can't move. He's everything else. The 4-hour drive up to Milwaukee, he's like, he's like, pull over. Like, this is awful. I can't do this and everything else. We get to Milwaukee. There's no tailgating because it's pouring rain, but whatever. They had the roof closed, which kind of like dampened some of the experience of the game. But this dude drinks 2 beers during the game, and he was like, should choke him down.
Yeah, like it was like I had to like pep talk myself before every sip. Like, you got this. Come on, down the hatch. Da da da. It was a very, very, very rough time, and it didn't help that our overall thoughts on the ballpark and the city itself was kind of bleh. It was kind of it was dull. But the one thing, the best part about this, I will say, is Christian Yelich was about as hungover as I was.
He was. He was. I mean, the effort that he had towards the ball and everything else. It was like this dude's drunk.
The one thing we had about that was it seemed like because we kind of walked around the whole stadium, and we found a cool little spot. There's like a restaurant in the outfield in left field there
Where
that
you can sit on the glass and it like overhangs the field. It's pretty cool out there in the left field corner in that.
But it overhanged and we're looking right at Yelich.
Yeah.
And that's where we were like the way he was moving and the way he was moving around all game. It was like, okay, wow, he looked about as hungover as I was. It was brutal. So we get back to the hotel. And I'm like, dudes, I need a nap. He's like, well, what are we gonna do for dinner? Like, do you want to go explore downtown Milwaukee? Like, da, da, da. And I'm like, dudes, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm like, I need a nap.
I don't want any part of it.
I ended up taking about a 3-4 hour nap.
Yeah, and then we just ended up going down to the hotel bar. We got these
boots. These boots. And I got a picture of them. They got a picture. I'll pop them up. So we got these these boots of beer.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you, I probably had about 3 sips.
Couldn't do it.
3 sips. He had to finish it for me. Went right back up to the hotel. Passed out. I'm gonna tell you, it was a brutal experience.
But we did do Portillo's on the way home.
Of course, you got to do the Portillo's. Fantastic. Gotta love the Portillo's. In fact, they've expanded. There's a couple in Michigan and Ohio now.
Yeah,
we should go. Well, if we're gonna go to a Portillo's and we're gonna do a review, we're gonna go to the one in Chicago and Wrigleyville.
Yeah. So yeah, okay, all right. Well, there it is. That's 3. That's episode 3. That's in the books. We got it down. So we're gonna post some of the simulator stuff. If the heat dies down a little bit, we'll get to actual courses. We're gonna start talking more about these dive bars.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna start getting more some videos and some content at these dive bars. And then also, I mean, we're gonna fire up the Happy Dads, hashtag Happy Dad, hashtag not an ad, hashtag would like it to be. I'm a happy dad. So, but anyway, that's episode 3. Stay tuned. We got some more content. We got some more stories. We got some more. Tell us where you want us to go. Tell us what some of the things you like about dive bars. Tell us some of the things that some of the places you like to go.
Especially if you're in the Michigan or Ohio area. If you're
Illinois,
if you're in the Midwest,
let us know. And then also, we're gonna start throwing out there, like when we start going to baseball games, we're gonna ask for some local stuff. So if you're in those areas when we tell you where we're gonna go, let us know what we need to do in those areas. So
of course, absolutely. Follow Instagram, TikTok. Of course, if you're watching this, you're already subscribed on YouTube.
This where I have the computer right now, it looks like it's like a sensor black box.
It does look like a sensor black box. Or it could be like a fanny pack. You gonna bring fanny packs back?
I would like to bring a fanny pack.
You want to bring the fanny packs back
I would,
style?
I would bring a fanny pack back.
Yeah, I think maybe we could bring the fanny pack back. But thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you're subscribed and followed to all of our socials. Everything will be linked below. Like I said, stay on the lookout. A lot of fun stuff coming up soon. And we will catch y'all on the next one. Love y'all.